Happy Tuesday, Spirit Fam. Oracle Bree Marie back today with another episode of Astrology Facts. Today is all things Earth, and I want to start off by saying I really hope I make it through all these planets, because as far as being a Gemini goes, I have my finger in every pie, but according to my birth chart, it's so much more than that. I have a really difficult time staying on one task. When I did the chakras, I actually got all the way up through 6 of them, and then I didn't so much lose interest before I got to the crown chakra, but it was more like it just wasn't fulfilling me anymore, so I moved on to something else, and let's just hope I can get through all the planets. Okay, so get your coffee. We have live by the sun and love by the moon, and let's jump right in. So I want to start by saying that I'm going to start by going through some facts about planet Earth, and I'm sure you probably already know all of this. I mean, it's our home planet. And then I'm going to get into, does Earth ever go into retrograde? And then lastly, and the most important to me that I think is really exciting, is where is Earth on our birth charts? How do we find it, and what does it mean? All right, so let's start with some facts about Earth. Right, to start off, I want to let you know that I got all of my information from wikipedia.com, 321 Science on YouTube, mysticastrology.com, and cosmicintelligenceagency.com. And I'm actually going to leave a couple of these links here for you, so you can learn more about your Earth sign. Okay, so all about Earth. As we all know, Earth is the third rock from the sun. It is the third planet after Mercury and Venus. Then comes us. Earth is the only astronomical object known to harbor and support life. Earth is 70.8% water and 29.2% land. So we are mainly water, literally just like our bodies. We are 80% water as well. Earth's axis is tilted, and that is how we get our seasons. Earth formed over 4.5 billion years ago. That was a long time ago. Earth orbits about 28,000 light years away from the center of our galaxy, the Milky Way. And if you happen to find that anything I'm saying is incorrect, or you could add to it, feel free to in the comments. Always be kind. I do these early in the morning, all this research at like 6 o'clock in the morning, so it's very possible I throw something in there that I actually already knew wasn't the case, or I could just be finding wrong information. I try to make sure that I stick to sites that, reputable sites, but it can happen. You never know. So let me know if I'm saying something that doesn't make sense. So the hottest spot on Earth that I found is Death Valley in California. Now, it gets up to 130 degrees here. I feel like it might not be the hottest, but it does sound familiar to me to have Death Valley being the hottest. The coldest place on the planet is actually the Soviet Vostok station in Antarctica. And it gets to be negative 128 degrees Fahrenheit there, which just absolutely blows my mind. I can't even imagine something being that cold. All right. So scientists use the term retrograde and prograde to describe how the way the solar system objects rotate or spin. So there's orbital rotation, how the planets move around the sun, and rotational motion, which is how they spin on their axis. So there's the sun, they're spinning this way, well, they're spinning around the sun, and then they're also individually rotating at the same time, which is crazy. Everything's moving in different directions in different ways, but it all seems to work out just right for us to be able to sustain life, and not just a little bit of life, but we have like a crazy amount of life here on Earth. A planet has retrograde spin if it is in opposite motion of its orbit. It is prograde if it spins in the same direction as its orbit. Asteroids can actually be retrograde or prograde as well. So this was a little confusing for me at first when I was researching it, because the retrograde that I was looking at is like Mercury retrograde or Venus retrograde, when the planet appears to be moving backwards. And I was trying to find out, can Earth be in retrograde? And the answer to that is really no, it can't, because the only reason why the other planets are what we consider to be retrograde is because it appears from where we are on Earth to be going backwards. So Earth can't appear to be going backwards to us because we're on it. So Earth does not go in retrograde, and Earth has a prograde rotation, whereas Venus has a retrograde rotation. And I actually have something that I drew that I'm going to pop in here if you guys are interested. So prograde is when the planet is spinning in the direction away from the sun, and retrograde is when it is spinning in the direction towards the sun. All right, so here's the little thing that I drew. Venus rotates clockwise, and this makes it a retrograde spinning planet, whereas Earth spins counterclockwise, and this makes it in prograde motion. So Venus's sun actually rises in the west, and Venus and Uranus, however you say it, are two of the planets that, at least that I know of, that spin in a retrograde motion. And Earth, oh gosh, I'm not even sure if it's the only one, but it is definitely, it's definitely prograde. Earth cannot go in retrograde at all whatsoever. So there is that for you. I hope that helps explain a little bit. Here's the other one that I made. We have the sun, we have the orbit, and then here we have Bennu. This is actually a potentially hazard asteroid that we found in 1999, and it has a retrograde motion, so that makes it rotate towards the sun instead of away from the sun, which would be prograde. Okay, so what about Earth in our birth charts? Why don't we see Earth anywhere on our birth charts? Absolutely nowhere. Well, this is because your birth chart is created by the point on Earth where you were when you were born, and where the planets and everything were aligned where you were when you were born from Earth. And so since we're looking at a point of view from Earth, Earth isn't anywhere on our birth charts, but I have a secret for you today on how you can find it. Earth is on your birth chart, it's just hidden. So Earth is directly across from your sun sign, like directly straight across 180 degrees, I believe. So for example, my Earth, my sun sign is in Gemini. I'm a Gemini. So that puts my Earth sign in Sagittarius. And I'm going to get into telling you what that means. Your position of Earth in your birth chart shows how you serve humanity. Like, how cool is that? How could we leave that out? It demonstrates how we manifest various energies from other existing points in our charts. It is symbolic of how the divine soul manifests within our physical body and the physically present aspects of our being. This actually shows where the pathwalker should tread the ways of men. Isn't that really cool? It represents the balance between our inner and our outer journeys, our physical presence, and how we influence others. Earth grounds the other houses or planets that are actually touching or being around it. It grounds these other astrological objects and houses. It is about manifestation, fertility, and practicality. It represents your earthly mission. And I know that sounds a lot like a north node, because our south node is where we've been and our north node is where we're going. But it's actually entirely different in the aspect, because it's your north node, which we'll get into in another video, is your soul's path, where your soul has you heading your soul journey, so in this lifetime. But your earth sign is really going to tell you about how you serve humanity in this lifetime on Earth. In Sanskrit, Earth is Prithvi, which stands for the vast one. This is a super exciting addition to our birth charts. I highly recommend to take a second and go check out the links below. I got one link that will tell you your birth sign if you don't know how to figure out the exact opposite of your sign. And then I have another link that actually it breaks down each one. Like for me, it will say Sun in Gemini, Earth in Sagittarius, or, you know, excuse me, it will go ahead and put those there. And it really gives you, it breaks it down between your lesson and your legacy. So that's super cool. I want you guys to check it out. Tell me in the comments all about yours and if it resonates with you and how you feel about this new information being added to your birth chart. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what mine means. Again, my sun sign is in Gemini, so my earth sign is in Sagittarius. Sagittarius has the affirmation, I perceive. So this is representative of a seeker, a traveler, an adventurer, a spiritual master, a guru, a guide, an advocate, a messenger, philosopher, a dreamer, a visionary, a teacher, a storyteller, a shapeshifter, a magician, a wizard, a reporter, and a writer. And this just absolutely blows my mind because it literally describes me to a T. It describes so much about me, especially like the spiritual master and guru, and then mixed together with the teaching. I'm a writer. I'm definitely into perceiving things and perception and changing my perception. This really, and if it's for every single Gemini actually has their earth in Sagittarius, which is crazy to me because I don't know how so many people could have this same exact thing. Like this could relate to everybody because it so personally really does relate to me. And I find it really interesting to learn this, not learn it about myself. It's stuff I already know, but it's kind of like the universe saying, I knew when you were born that you were going to be like this. And so I have a keen sense of perception when it comes to information. I am a natural seeker of the truth, which couldn't be more right. I am a truth seeker. I knew it. I know it. I've always known it. It's crazy. And then the dreamer, my very first tattoo, was a Chinese symbol that means dream. Every single one of these words really hits home for me. So having my sun in Gemini and my earth in Sagittarius really pulls me from one direction to the other regarding new information and experiences. So that's where I find these different perceptions and different viewpoints and outlooks on things being pulled in these different directions. Just really trying to learn everything, every aspect of everything. And I feel like that's why so many people come to me to vent, not only because I'll listen, but because I'm really good at seeing all sides of a situation. And without judgment or condemnation, I really just can say to somebody, I completely understand where you're coming from. I really do. And I also understand where this person is coming from or where this situation is coming from. And I help people see aspects and viewpoints that they probably hadn't considered. Apparently, this pull that I have between the two, between Gemini and Sagittarius, it can actually cause a lack of faith at some point throughout life. Really feeling lost spiritually at some point, which definitely happened to me in my late teens and my early 20s. I'm sure this can be for anybody, but it specifically states in there that I can struggle with having faith and believing in myself at some points, or having faith in spirituality at some points. And both of those have been true at some point. There can also be internal conflict with personal beliefs because you can see every aspect of everything. So it's almost like, what is true to me? What do I believe? So there's a lot of pull, a lot of tugging going on here, a lot of using discernment. I also have a tendency of naturally looking at the brighter side of things, and that is so true. I am very positive. My husband is a negative Nancy. He calls it being a realist, but there's times where he'll say something and I'm like, hey, don't put that in the universe. Be positive, stay positive. I really think that that's a vibe that I try to give out and bring to people, is to look at the bright side of any situation, even the worst. So having my earth in Sagittarius even shows that at some point in my life, I will travel to relocate over 500 miles. And 7 years ago, when I was right before my 28th birthday, I moved from Maine to Texas, which is way more than 500 miles. And then my husband and I ended up here in Mississippi, but I am, whoa, what was that? Whew, something on my hand. Wake me up because there's a spider coming down right by my face when I started. But I relocated more than 500 miles. So it's crazy for me. Like, when we're born, it's really all in the stars. Everything about us pretty much can be in the planets and in the stars and in the houses if you really learn how to break it down. If you ever had your birth chart, you know, that free reading online, you're like, wow, how is this all so specific to me? That's crazy. Well, it's crazy, but that just is that much more confirmation for me. Not that I needed it, but that the universe really has a plan, and it has a method to its madness. And we really just need to surrender and go with the flow, right? Because if Spirit already knows all these things about me before I was even born, or knew that I was going to be going through all of this, then how can I ever be upset when things don't go my way? Because it was literally written in the stars how a majority of my life was going to go, or at least the direction that it should go. So as far as how I serve humanity by teaching spiritual information. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? I don't even, oh, wow, that just blows my mind. It's like, how did you know that? So my lesson is to stay focused and disciplined and to not be distracted. So that makes a lot of sense too. I don't know if I'm ever going to complete that lesson. It looks like a lifelong lesson, something I'm going to be learning every second of every day of my life, how to not be distracted and to move from one thing to another and to jump from one thing to another. It's almost like it was a plan for me to have this personality, and it's my lesson to see how well I can deal with it. My legacy is to help teach human consciousness. Isn't that incredible? My legacy is to help other people see different viewpoints. It's to teach others the value of thoughts, how to work on controlling your thoughts, how to process your thoughts, it's insane because I was actually doing all of this stuff before I even got super heavy into my spirituality almost a year ago now. This was always me. I was always sharing my, not so much my opinion, but my different viewpoints on things, helping people gather and work through their thoughts and feelings. I've always tried to figure out how to better communicate with people, how to help people learn how to better communicate with their loved ones, and how to understand different communications. It's just, wow. So definitely go check out where your Earth is on your birth chart. And I want to know, did you learn something new about yourself? Is it stuff that you already know? Did you know that you could find Earth on your birth chart? Or am I just like way behind the curve on this one? All right, so that concludes Earth for today. I will be back tomorrow with the next one. I'm not even sure what that is. I should know this. I'm going to go look it up. Neptune? I think the next one's going to be Neptune. We'll see. All right, guys. Love, light, and blessings. Have a super awesome rest of your day. If you like this video, please like it, share it, comment on it, save it. You know, let's help support each other. All right. Bye, guys.